from the Illinois game, especially looking back on it in the last couple of days?
I think we all recognize that we're just not quite where we need to be yet. That there's a lot of work still to be done. I think we can certainly play better in a lot of areas, and I think our players, I hope, recognize that it takes legitimate, credible effort every single week to win at this level. When you play good teams, every week's going to be a dogfight, and it's going to take your best energy to prepare for that and put yourself in a position to go out and play your best. And hopefully they recognize the sense of urgency that takes.
What's the process been like of just getting turned around after that, heading into a short week?
One more time?
What's the process been like of moving on from that, heading into a short week ahead of this game?
Yeah, just incredibly crunched for time. You don't want to just sweep the other game under the rug. You want to learn the lessons that are available from it, but you have to turn the page and move forward a little bit more quickly than you normally would. And after a loss, sometimes that's a good thing. So just really working ahead of schedule to be where we need to be at this point. Your first 3 days of the week, which included a Sunday practice for us, you're getting in 90% of the game plan, and so there's just a lot to be done in a short amount of time, both with us and the players.
Coach Lockwell talked yesterday about some of the RPO game you guys do and against Illinois, how some of the reads maybe didn't go the way maybe should have. How do you go about kind of working through those things with just the offense as a whole in the meeting room?
Specifically the RPO piece of it?
Yeah, just in reading a defense and the specific things you want to look for and making sure, because like Jalen was talking about disguising coverages and things like that.
Yeah, well, I mentioned earlier in the week, I think, before the game, if I didn't, I was remiss in saying so, but I felt like this defense disguised things probably better than any college defense than I've been around. And I thought they did that well in the game also. And that makes your RPO game challenging. The other thing that makes the RPO game challenging is when you play man coverage, you don't have those easy access throws. Not as easy to just throw a hitch or some of the easier RPOs. The idea behind the RPO game is that in general, if the box is loaded, then there might be somewhere else you can go with the ball and take an easier throw rather than a more challenging run. However, when they work to take the runaway with man coverage, then those RPO throws can be challenging throws, and we just missed on a couple.
What do you think about the offensive line?
I thought by and large it was a good performance by them. I thought the protection for the most part was good. We were running the ball into heavy boxes, and first I got to give credit to the backs, because I think Devin and Deuce played really well and exceptionally hard, and I got to do a better job of getting them the ball in crunch time. But I thought the offensive line played a solid game against a good front.
I know you're around for the bowl game against UNLV, not calling the plays, but what do you remember about that UNLV offense, and do you see similarities, differences?
Offense or defense?
Defense, yeah.
Yeah.
Between what you saw last year and then the first 2 games this year.
Similar, just a little bit better. Yeah, similar in style, a little bit different structurally, a little bit different emphasis. However, they've been dominant in 2 games and maybe didn't need to show some things that we'll have to be ready for. There's still a bit of an unknown there, just like there was last week. Anytime you're this early in the season and your opponent hasn't been tested, you wonder what's still there that they haven't shown yet. But I'd say similar, just a little bit better, and what comes with more experience in the system is confidence and play speed and aggression, and you see all of that.
What kind of challenge does it present going up against a defense with the level of confidence that Coach Leipold mentioned yesterday? They feel they should be a top 25 team. They've dominated their first 2 games. How does it work when you have to go up against a defense that's playing with that mindset?
I don't know. I don't know that it makes any difference in your approach on offense. You know, what we tend to focus on is our effort, our confidence, our toughness, and then their structure. We certainly pay respect to any opponent that plays hard and plays with confidence, but whether they play with confidence or not, that's not something I guess that we focus on a whole lot. But I would just say typically a team that's playing with confidence seems like they play fast and they play aggressive. So we'll have to do our best to take advantage of that.
Jeff, on your group, the tight ends, how did you think they graded out?
Okay, not great. Didn't feel like we had a major role in the game. Had a couple of critical mistakes. Beyond that, I would say solid as a group, but not a major contributing factor.
It felt like you guys were maybe just a little bit away from a few big plays. You know, a decision here, drop ball there, missed block there. What's the message to the team when you guys go back and look at that film? I mean, do you say, hey, this needed to be executed better, or is it more sort of, hey, we're that close, if you do this thing right, you know, it's right there?
I think it depends on the makeup of your team and where you think they are as a coach. My message was you have to earn the right to play well, and I went back and watched some specific clips from last week's practice. That's what I did. I didn't watch any of the game film with them, which is unusual for what I would typically do with the offense afterwards. I always talk about the stats and kind of what we did well and what we did poorly, and then I went right to some practice clips from last week, and then I shared the quote from Bear Bryant, everybody has the will to win. That's not really what matters though. It's the will to prepare to win. And I said, if we want to play better, then we've got to practice better, and we've got to earn the right to play better on Saturdays.
Have you seen that this week?
I think so. It's a little bit harder to tell just because we've gone a little bit lighter practices the first couple of days, and then a challenging practice today, and all of that happening in a really shortened amount of time. So a Sunday night practice, Monday morning, Tuesday morning practice. There's a lot there, and I haven't watched this film yet. It feels like to me that they're anxious to get better and play again, but I've also learned you don't really know sometimes until game day.
Obviously, Jalen didn't have the game that he wanted to have. What did you kind of see from him on Saturday, and what was the conversation like afterwards?
Obviously, he felt negatively, felt down about it, as we all did, as I did. But I didn't see a guy that was. I saw a guy that was frustrated but not shaken, and I think a guy that is excited to move forward and play the next week. I thought on the sideline, you know, similarly to what I had said before, I think there was the right amount of frustration, but not panic. And so I guess to answer your question more succinctly, I think he's disappointed, but the competitor in him is ready to go compete again. And, you know, in this sport, wins and losses get magnified at a higher level than they do in other sports because you have so few competition days. It also gives you that time in between from one competition to the next to set your jaw and go to work. And I think he's doing that.
Jeff, with UNLV's defense, is there a personnel group or something that stands out to you that looks good?
Well, I think their defensive line and linebackers, I think they're two things, I guess I would say. Their front, D-line linebackers, plays with just almost not out of control, but almost a sense of recklessness that can be challenging. I've been around defenses like this before, and often there's a mantra about just hitting your gap and don't stay blocked, and maybe at times that can certainly be challenging for an offensive line, both in run and the pass game. Just a lot going on every play, it feels like. Then in the back end, a lot of experience, a lot of speed, and multiple coverages. The ability to play several different types of zone and the ability to lock you up and run with you man as well. And so I don't know if there's any one or not, but I would just say that the way that the style that the front plays with is a challenge, and then their ability to cover you with length and speed in the back end would be a different type of challenge.
Anything else for Coach Grimes?
All right.